Hello, everybody, and welcome to a much long-awaited edition of ASF Ask The Roster. It's me, Mr. AKI, here to be your deliverer of good or bad news or informative news. Whatever it may be, any questions that have been asked have been answered. Thank you all that did contribute, no matter how many questions you put in or whatever. We're going to cover all of them. I say all of them, but there were some that I couldn't understand due to typos or missing words and stuff. So for those questions, I've had to obviously miss out because I haven't been able to interpret the question. Or for most of them, I have worked it out, but for some, there are going to be some gaps. So, I'm feeling a bit ill, but I should be alright doing this. We're going to start off soon. There are a total of 22 questions to answer, so there's no time limit to how long this is going to be, but you'll see how long it's going to be. But eventually, your question will come up for those who have only asked one. But otherwise, stick around and get ready for some exciting answers, or not so exciting answers. Just depends on your perspective, doesn't it? But I will also be giving my own analysis of the answer that's been given. Let's move on straight away to question number 1 of 22, which is to Sonia. And there are 2 questions for her to start off here in one, and she's going to answer both. But the questions are: why did you turn on your own brother, and how did it feel to have your clothes stolen? So the first answer for that is she's answered with, I've done what needs to be done for the takeover to go forward. So I don't know what that means, but obviously it's to further the cause, possibly, of the anti-heroes with the invasion of Raw. But I don't see how that's going to help. We'll see, but Sonya, she's been a very delusional person, obviously, as of late, so that's to be expected. Also, on the subject of clothes being stolen, she answered, how do you think I felt? What a rude and insulting question to be asked. Well, obviously she felt very embarrassed. Who knows what went on in the back? One can only guess. Anyway, moving on. Question number 2 is to Billy. How do you feel about your first Mascot Mania? Well, actually, before he does answer this, it isn't his first, but yeah, it's his second, but it's his first here in YouTube, so that's fair enough. But he's gonna answer it anyway with, yeah, fun, fun, fun. Oh, so much fun, and we are gonna beat up all of the girls. Well, that's Billy's view of the 6-person tag match to take place at Mania. Because he's facing Rouge, Samus, and Sonya. So, he's going to have fun beating up all of the girls. If it comes to that, who knows, they might beat him up instead. I know Sonya might well be going for him, as we discussed, me and Eggman in the Breakdown show, so who knows. We'll see where that leads, but he's looking forward to it, it sounds like. Very upbeat Billy. Alright, question 3 is to Grim. Do you think someone might try to jump you in the match because of the 24/7 rule? So we're talking about the Hardcore Championship Fatal 4-Way match, and someone might try to attack Grim either before or after or even during the match because of that 24/7 rule that will be ending as the result of this match. So I don't know what I was saying after the match. It's not going to happen then, but beforehand. Certainly it might happen. But anyway, his answer is Well, if anyone else wants to add to the chaos at Mania, I welcome that. That's Grim for you. He's definitely hardcore, and he would probably love to have more people in that hardcore match. Because he is the defending champion. And that's what champions, in my view, should be made of. One that's willing to take on all challenges necessarily, one after the other, or all at the same time in this case. But yeah, we'll have to see who comes out of that match in the end. Whoever does will have some peace. Because the 24/7 rule will end as a result of that, thanks to Cyrus's ruling as a result. Right, next question. Question 4 is to Mandy. Are you going to be keeping an eye out for Kaneda just in case she might try to interfere? And her answer to that would be, Kaneda is too afraid of what I might do to her if she does show up. Even if I'm going to be putting the hurt on Daddy, I will have eyes on the back of my head. Or in the back of my head. Well, that's Scary Mandy for you, the emo child. But, yeah, who knows if Kaneda will show up. Will she make an impact? And will she come out to help, as Mandy has put it, Daddy? That's being a sarcastic her. We'll have to see how that match pairs out. I'm actually quite looking forward to it to see if Eggman can get some revenge, because what Mandy did is definitely unforgivable when it comes to family issues and all that stuff. So I hope he does get his justice, but I'm not putting Mandy aside as a pushover here, because she's definitely a determined person, as we've seen in the past. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch, and if Kaneda does show up, I'm keen to see what does happen. That's me, myself, and I. And on to question 5 now. This one's to Bart. What would your reaction be if your mum or Millhouse joined the ASF? I'm keen to maybe see what the result of that is. But let's have Bart answer first, and he's going to answer with... no way, man. Not Mum. Not now. Not ever. Millhouse, on the other hand, that would be cool. Just don't think he would be up for it. He's like that. Yeah, Millhouse is a bit of a wuss, let's admit. So, yeah, Bart's definitely... Well, Bart's not the biggest tough guy, but hey, he's done a lot here in the ASF, and I'm very happy for him. Former world and ASF, former world and YouTube champion, I should say. And maybe soon to be tag team champion with his own dad. In that steel cage match against Dimension X, who knows? But who knows? We'll have to see if I'm going to introduce anyone else from The Simpsons into the ASF, but at the moment I'm on the rocks of saying no. We will see. We will see. I'm not promising anything. I never promise anything in the ASF because, as Eggman would say, anything can happen in it. So, on to question 6, and this is for Amy Rose. What would your reaction be if Fiona or Rosie the Rascal joined the ASF? Probably pandemonium would be, certainly for Rosie. But Amy answers with, it really would not be a problem if they did. Well, just as long as Rosie stayed away from me, she is freaky. Yes, I agree with Amy. She is very freaky. She can be in a tag team with Billy. Ooh, ideas. Getting inspiration from this. But hey, it's all good. We'll have to see if I ever introduce those. But I'm trying to limit the Sonic roster myself personally. Because there's too many Sonic characters in the ASF as it is. I need to either kick some out or yeah, replace them or whatever. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, next question. Question 7, and this one's for the legendary Mario. What would your reaction be if Bowser joined the ASF? And he responds with, in nice big letters, even though that's just a picture. That would not be good, so it kind of suits the big text there. you see on the screen. So yes. Well, Mario's wouldn't be pleased if Bowser did join the ASF, but hey, who knows? I might be troublesome. Alright, that's all I got on that one, I'm afraid. So question 8 is for Sonic. What would your reaction be if Chris Thorndyke joined the ASF? Ooh, lordy lord. Get ready for the rant. Because he's going to answer with, boom. Let me give you a little speed run down memory lane. Chris was in fact part of the roster one time, but not really as a fighter, but a manager. My manager. And I fired his ass because he did nothing good. Just like I'm going to show the boss at Mascot Mania, hello, Scourge needs to be fired too. Well, we'll see. If Scourge beats you, then who knows, I might fire you instead. No, I'm just kidding. Sonic definitely has the job security with the ASF, I will say that, because he's been here from the start. He's an ASF original, if you want to call him that. Yeah. He's a very valuable player. I need to keep around. And his persona has been rather interesting to work with. But we'll see with Scourge, because Scourge is only just come into the ASF, and we don't know what is next when it comes to Scourge's career, if he does indeed have one. If he doesn't beat Sonic here, it could well be in jeopardy. So who knows? There might well be a stipulation for that match that Scourge's future is in danger, but we will see. Moving on to question 9 now, though, and this is for Eggman. What would your reaction? What would be your reaction if Orbot and Cubot joined the ASF? And his reaction is, who and who? Oh, those guys. Nope, sorry, I still don't remember who they are. That's Eggman selective memory for you. On breaking the fourth wall here, I don't know how on earth I would actually make them. They're robots. They're rather odd-looking robots to that. They're not Metal Sonic like personas. But yeah, you know what? If the ASF wasn't restricted to a video game, I might well have them in. I would love to see the antics between those two in the ASF indeed. But otherwise, it's going to be kind of impossible. But enough breaking the fourth wall and telling you what's what. On to the question 10. This is to Cream. What would your reaction be if your mum joined the ASF? That's my reply. No, let's see what Cream has to say. She says, my mama? Well, that really would be cool, I think, but she might get hurt if she did. Yeah, that's Cream for you. She's being very protective of her mother. But don't be fooled by that cute appearance, as they say, because she has had a mean streak here in the ASF. So, I don't know. Moving on. Question 11 is to Mario again. Are you upset about having to face your brother after all you've been through? That's what I picked up from that one anyway, so I hope it's correct. But he's answered with, he wants to take me down to reach fame. I'm looking forward to our clash. So Mario doesn't seem too bothered about facing off against Luigi at Mania. He seems very open to the challenge. He seems ready for the challenge. Luigi's had been assaulting him from behind on a lot of occasions. So Mario's obviously had enough of it, and obviously that won't be going down at Mania. They'll be facing one-on-one with each other in a set match instead of being pounced upon. I'm sure Mario will be facing Luigi quite literally in that match before they clash arms, so we say. So we'll see who has to get the advantage, but hey, I'm rooting for Mario on this one. So we will see. That's where I stand. On to question 12. This is a question for Nightmare. How do you feel since becoming a lackey for the anti-heroes stopped you from going after the YouTube title, since I doubt Tails would let anyone of his faction go after his title? This has been a really big issue with the anti-heroes, with Nightmare being in the anti-heroes in question, because Nightmare has been one of those people that wants a championship. He's won the hardcore title, but he's never had anything else when it comes to any other titles being owned by the anti-heroes, that being Tails with the YouTube title and the tag team titles with Dimension X. So I'm keen to see his reply here. This is a very ongoing problem. He answers with, let's just say I don't have his back for keeping that title for nothing. Soon he will have to grant me a match for all my hard work I've done for him, and on that day I will be his worst nightmare. Is that a threat? I mean, Nightmare has been the rebellious kind. Him and the Cyrus Robot have not been on the same page, even though they've been trying to form a tag team. Yeah, that's a twink in the armor of the anti-heroes. I would say would be Nightmare, because he's one of those guys that likes to stand alone. He only joined because of Astaroth joining the Freedom Movement in the end of the day, I believe. So he's a standalone guy, but at the moment he's obviously trying to get in Tails' good books just so he can grant him a title match. But then, as he says, it may be Tails' biggest regret. We'll have to see how that progresses, if it does at all. But I'm sure it might, because Nightmare is definitely a one to look out for. Very dominant competitor. Anyway, moving on to question 13. This is another one for Cream. What does your mum think about your career so far? And she replies with, she is very happy with me. Why would she not be? Well, I guess he's got a point. But yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Obviously, I don't think Cream's mum, who's named Vanilla, by the way, would be particularly happy with what Cream's been doing in the ASF. But hey, that's not my problem to deal with. That's hers. Moving on to question 14. This one's for Rouge. What was your reaction to what Manic did to Nightmare? And of course, we're referring to the actions done by Manic to Nightmare on the final episode of Smashdown, when he went absolutely, shall we say, nuts and crazy, and we saw a different side to Manic, and he absolutely pretty much destroyed Nightmare in a non-match environment. So we'll have to see what Rouge's reaction to this is, and she answers with, this is exactly why the anti-heroes are here, Sugar. That's not me calling you Sugar, that's her. Okay, just to back it up. Manic is a dangerous, off-the-wall nutcase. What he did to Nightmare was uncalled for and sickening, and it's a good reason why he should be fired. But from what it seems, Tails seems all too set to do just that in the winner-take-all match. Well, Rouge is obviously being faithful to the anti-heroes and obviously has faith in Tails, their leader, going into that, as she says, the winner-take-all match, which is pretty much what it is. It's all for the YouTube title, as well as the factions and the careers of the two individuals going in there, which would be Tails and Manic, of course. But for her to say the actions were uncalled for, well, of course the actions were sickening, I guess, to an extent, but at the end of the day, they've kind of asked for it, because they have been putting the Freedom Movement through hell, and that's including Manic. Tails has been putting Manic through a lot of hell. So I wouldn't say it was uncalled for, so Rouge is being a bit biased on that front, if not a bit delusional on that front. But still. That's what Rouge thinks of the situation. Moving on to question 15 now, and this is to Tails. What would you have picked for the third fall of your match had Dimension X beaten Manic? Wow, this would be an interesting one. He answers with, just a standard match. Oh, okay then. Because all I need is the first two falls. That's a bit of confidence. Manic winning that last fall means nothing, but it seemed to have filled him with false hope, which to me is perfect. So watch at Mania when I break his dang leg off and then climb up the ladder with it in my hand and hold it over my head, as well as the YouTube Championship of the world. Wow, that's a statement by Tails right there. planning to break Manic's leg off in the first fall, which would be that submission match, and then in the ladder match climb up with it. That's a very bold statement. One that Manic is probably not even going to take kindly to if he does get word of what he said here. There's no doubt in my mind that he would, because he's on him like a hawk in a sense. So yeah, that's a statement, definitely by the YouTube champion and defending title holder for Mania. Ouch. Okay, question 16 is to Amy again. Who are you keeping an eye out for in your match, and what was it like when you were abducted? So, she answers with, everyone seems to be on edge about Takal. Yes, we are. Very curious about that. But I don't know. Then again, she would have told us in private if it was a big plan to fool Peach, but so far she has said nothing. Also about the kidnapping, I would rather not talk about it. Cream, don't believe that cute persona she pulls off for one moment. See, I said that a minute ago. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, we dread to think what happened during that abduction, and obviously Amy does not want to go into details. Yeah, but everyone's going to be questioning to Cal what are her motives or her drive in that four-way match for the Women's Championship. Is she going to be on Peach's side, or is this a big ruse and a big plan to get a hold of the women's title by giving Peach some false trust? We'll have to wait and see for that one. Very anticipated outcome of that match, I'm sure. Okay, question 17. Moving on now. We're going to have a bit of a laugh here to Kana. I know I'm going to get a lot of laughs for this question, which you will. So, which girl would you like to face in a Kiss My Ass match? Oh boy, here we go. Okay, Connor, let's see what she has to say. Kiss Me Ass match? Hee hee hee. Now that sounds funny. I hate the way I just said hee 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 there. I'm sorry. But, but what girl? Ooh, me know. Mandy. Me bet she's a good butt kisser. She kissed Mr. Man Dr. Egg's butt pretty good. In fact, that's me new name for her. She's not the emo child. She's the butt kisser. Oh, God. You want to get on Mandy's bad side. That's one thing you say. So I would watch out, Connor. I'd keep this is Mandy is going to be in her match, apparently having eyeballs in the back of your head. I would grow eyeballs in the back of your head, Connor, after saying that. My goodness me. That's. I don't know what to say. Why did that match ever get invented? That has got to be the worst kind of match ever invented. Vince McMahon just went a bit AWOL there. He said, hey, but I'm not the only person who could be the one to kiss my ass. It could be the competitors as well. Still, in this context, it's hilarious. Connor and Mandy in a kiss my ass match. And I'm sure Connor would not want to kiss Mandy's ass. Ever. Right, anyway, moving on. Distractions. Question 18 now. This is to Manic and Tails, so they'll be answering one after the other on this one. Do you think the Masked Man, that bleepy name right there in the brackets, might interfere because he's not part of the ASF? Manic's answer to that is, dude, that's the reason AKI is having that match with him on the pre-show in the first place. To just shut him up and leave everything for Mania B. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. He just said it. I'm gonna take John Cena to school. Oh, I just said that name. Yeah. Yeah, it leaves a horrible taste in my mouth. And then Tails' response to that question is, I just hope the boss can deal with him. It's the last thing both of us want, maybe for different reasons, but still. Yeah, of course. Tails wouldn't want anyone to interfere, especially if it was going to be attacking him, I'm sure. So that's the reason he wants that, but I want no interference from anyone whatsoever in that match. because yeah, obvious reasons. But I'll be able to deal with him, Tails. Don't worry. He's a pushover. Moving on to question 19. Again to Mannequin Tails. Do you think the third match, or the third fall, could have been a Trip to Oblivion match? It's going to be an interesting one for them to answer. So with that being said, Manic is going to answer first. It's pretty much that. It's pretty much that anyway, because that's exactly where I'm sending Tails, and it's not going to be just a trip to. Ooh, lots of heavy statements being made for this 3 Stages of Hell match, but hey, that's what it's all about. These two have such hatred for each other. And Tails' answer for this is the ASF, not some other little show that makes stupid named matches. Now, I don't speak for Tails myself. I actually went out of my way to go and search for this match, whatever it was, because I actually don't honestly know what a Trip to Oblivion match was, and my findings did come up short, so I actually don't know what kind of match that is, but I would be very interested to know what a Trip to Oblivion match is. So if you can answer that for me, there's a question for you on Ask the Roster. What is a Trip to Oblivion match? I'm very interested to know what that is, despite what Tails says here. And maybe we will have one if I like the sound of it. And I'll put Tails in, just to spite him. So yeah, but yeah, I'd love to know what a Trip to Oblivion match is. It does sound like a very fun match. Let's just say that. So we'll have to see if I can actually do it. But please do announce what the Trip to Oblivion match is for me. I'd love to know. Next question. We're on question number 20. Yes, that's right. I'm counting correctly. So it's a question for Sonya again. Why have you turned your back on the freedom movement at the end of the episode of Smashdown when Cyrus made his comeback to the ASF? Yeah, so I've got a guess of why that is. She's going to answer with, I did it for the takeover, to make sure everything is right. Again, a bit delusional. I don't know what this takeover is. Obviously I'm assuming anti-heroes to Raw, but if Manic is going to stop that, then yeah, we'll have to see. Manic is very determined, so we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Okay, so question 21 now. This is to Eggman. Have you thought about creating an NWO or an EWO? And his answer for that is, why would I think about doing that? Well, there's Eggman's witty comeback remarks again. He reigns supreme. But I don't really have a view on this myself. I'm assuming you want him to make one because to combat the anti-heroes and whatever. But he may not have to do that. But yeah, I don't think he needs to. I don't think he's too worried about it. He knows that the Raw roster is loyal and will defend the show if necessary, so he doesn't really need to assemble a faction. But that's my opinion on it all. Right, next question is question 22. So yeah. Where am I? Here I am. So this is the last question, I believe. So yeah, we're going to end it off with a question for Wario. Whose idea was it to steal Sonya's clothes, yours or Billy's? So the truth will come out now. And he answers with, well, you see, it was Bomberman's idea. Rats. I said I would not tell anyone, but yeah, Wario. Well, there you go. The truth comes out. It was actually Bomberman's idea after all that. It wasn't Wario's and it wasn't Billy's. I don't think Billy could come up with that idea. He just was up to wearing the clothes, I guess. And Wario just went along with it. But it was Bomberman's idea. There you go. So the truth comes out. But that is going to call it a wrap, I'm afraid. But that's all the questions covered. Once again, thank you everyone who contributed. We had some very interesting questions there, certainly that would make you wonder about future events and Mascot Mania in itself. As they say, anything can happen in the ASF, and from what we got here, it may well do. So, with that being said, I'm going to thank you all for listening. There's not much watching, even though if you want to read the questions for yourself. But hey, but there you go. I've been Mr. AKI, and that was a very special edition of Ask the Roster, which we haven't had for some time now. So it's good to see it having a little comeback here. I don't know if I'm going to be doing another one soon. But either way, we will have to see what progresses. We may well have another one, but I will announce when that will be if we do. But thank you all to those who contributed once more, and I will say goodbye. So see you guys later. See you guys at Mascot Mania, more specifically at the pre-show, which will be a day before Mascot Mania, and that's either going to be between now and Christmas. That is my upload target date. It may be a bit later. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm hoping for that, obviously. I would love to get it out as early as that. So yes, with that being said, goodbye.